Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope so you all are doing well. I'm your biology teacher with the summary of lecture number 2 from the chapter biotechnology, that is chapter number 17 in class 10th bio. So in this lecture we have discussed about the genetic engineering. Dear students, genetic engineering is also one of the technique of biotechnology. As previously we have discussed fermentation as the technique of biotechnology, now in today's lecture we are going to discuss genetic engineering, which is also one of the technique of biotechnology. But keep in mind it is more advanced form of biotechnology. The fermentation process was simple, right? In that process microorganism just do anaerobic respiration, and with the help of that anaerobic respiration we can form different types of products, like we discussed about alcohol, we discussed about bread, yogurt, etc. But in the process of genetic engineering the organisms are modified. How can we modify an organism? We can modify an organism if we change the genome of an organism, if we alter the DNA, the genetic material of an organism, so that the organism can be modified. So basically genetic engineering involves DNA alteration, artificial manipulation and transfer of genetic material from one organism to another organism. One of the technology of genetic engineering is termed as recombinant DNA. Recombinant DNA technology is basically a technology with the help of which we can form recombinant DNA. Now the question arises, what is a recombinant DNA? A recombinant DNA is a DNA which have genes from two different sources. In this technique, selection of DNA, it involves the selection of DNA from one organism, which we can say it is gene of interest, right? From the donor organism we select a gene and then we insert that gene in a recipient organism, right? As a result, the recipient organism will acquire the characteristic of the donor organism because it will be having the gene of the donor organism, and you know that all the information of a living organism is actually present in its genes. So whenever an organism have a gene of a different organism, that specific organism which is having the gene of a different organism will also acquire the character of that different organism. So basically this technique involves the selection of DNA of one organism, and that organism from which the DNA will be selected will be termed as a donor organism. Then this selected DNA or this selected gene is introduced to combine with the DNA of another organism, and the organism with the DNA of which the gene of interest is attached, that organism is termed as recipient. Okay, when we introduce the gene of donor into the recipient become a genetically modified organism because its genes are modified. So as a result, the recipient acquires the gene, the genetic ability of donor, and is called GMO. The DNA which have combination of genes from two different sources is called recombinant DNA. Now coming toward objective of genetic engineering, there are different objective, different purposes of genetic engineering. With the help of genetic engineering, we can identify disease causing genes, we can isolate disease causing gene, we can repair the genes, or we can also eradicate or remove such type of genes. Genetic engineering is also used for the treatment of non-genetic diseases. With the help of genetic engineering, we can develop more effective medicines. We can also produce GMOs, genetically modified organism. Now the question arises, why we need to produce GMO? So the GMOs can be produced to enhance food production. We can increase the food production with the help of GMOs, because genetically modified organism can produce more food. Similarly, we can enhance or we can make them disease resistant. We can enhance their ability to fight against disease. So we can make genetically modified organism disease resistant. Especially this property is introduced in different types of crop plants. And similarly, genetically modified plants are also produced to get substances which they do not produce naturally. Like for example, if there is a certain type of protein or if there is a certain type of vitamin which a plant do not produce naturally, we can genetically modify that plant to produce such type of vitamins. Okay, there are some example of genetically modified plants like golden rice, tomatoes, corn, salmon fish, and some animals which can glow in the dark. So the first one, that is golden rice. Golden rice is a genetically modified rice which have been inserted with the gene of beta carotene, and as a result the beta carotene is converted into vitamin A. And you know, vitamin A is useful in the eyesight. It has a great role in eyesight because it forms a pigment that is called rhodopsin, which is present in the rod cells. So golden rice is a genetically modified plant, and it have the precursor of vitamin A, that is beta carotene. Similarly, the shelf lives of tomato can be increased with the help of genetic engineering. Like GM tomatoes are formed in which the process of spoilage is very slow. As a result, you know, tomatoes spoil very quickly. They spoil very quickly, they become soft and rot. So as a result of genetic engineering, we can form such type of tomatoes in which the shelf life is increased. The next one is BT corn. It is corn which is modified with the help of genes of bacteria, genes taken from bacteria, and these genes produce a protein that is called BT protein. And with the help of this protein, the insect, it is actually toxic material for the insect. So as a result, the plant become insect or pest resistant. Similarly, aqua advantage salmon fish is formed with the help of genetic engineering. Actually, it is modified with the help of genetic engineering, and some growth hormones are inserted in this fish. As a result, the growth is increased, the size is increased, and it become rapid. And similarly, we can also insert fluorescent protein in organism. As a result, they will glow in the dark. Okay, then we are going to discuss basic techniques of genetic engineering. So for the genetic engineering or for making a recombinant DNA, we need some tools, and these tools are restriction endonucleases, which we call molecular scissor. It is basically an enzyme and obtained from the bacterial cell. Then another tool is DNA ligase, which is also termed as molecular glue, and it is also an enzyme. Vector is basically a vehicle which can carry the gene from the donor organism to the recipient organism. So the most commonly used vector are basically plasmid, which is a bacterial DNA, circular DNA present in bacterial cell, and we can obtain it from bacteria. And another vector which is used in biotechnology is bacteriophage, which is basically a virus which can insert its DNA in the bacterial cell. And we also require a host cell in which we can culture, we can grow, or we can replicate the gene of interest, and that host cell is mostly bacterium. Okay, now you can see here in the diagram, this one is bacteriophage virus, and this virus is also used as a plasmid, as a vehicle in the process of genetic engineering, or in the process of recombinant DNA technology. Okay, this is the bacterial cell, and bacterial cell can also be used as a host in this recombinant DNA technology. Plus, from the bacteria we also obtain this plasmid vector. Plasmid is basically a circular DNA. As you can see here, it is basically a circular DNA. Now this is the major DNA of the bacterial cell, and this is the extra chromosomal. It is a small piece of DNA which is present in the bacterial cell. So we can obtain this plasmid from the bacterial cell, and we can use it for vehicle, as a vector in the process of biotechnology. Okay, now coming toward the technique or the method of genetic engineering, basic techniques in genetic engineering, or the technique with the help of which we can form a recombinant DNA. So basically there are 3 steps involved in this process. The first one is isolation of gene of interest, the second one is making recombinant DNA, and the third one is gene cloning. One by one we are going to discuss these steps. Okay, the first step, that is isolation of gene of interest. Now in this step we select the DNA, right? We select the DNA from which we are going to obtain the gene of interest. Gene of interest is that gene which we are going to make copy of, right? Like for example, if we are going to insert the gene of insulin into a bacteria, right, for that we need gene of insulin. So gene of insulin is actually our gene of interest, or we can say it is desired gene. So first of all we will obtain desired gene. How we are going to obtain desired gene? We are going to take a human cell, and from that human cell first we will identify the gene of insulin on the chromosome, and then with the help of restriction enzyme, we will cut the DNA in fragments, right? So as a result, the gene of interest is isolated from the chromosome. Now in the next step, we will form a recombinant DNA. As we have discussed earlier, recombinant DNA is a type of DNA which have genes from two different sources. So in this step, we are going to form a recombinant DNA. How we are going to form a recombinant DNA? For the recombinant DNA, the gene of interest is attached with a vector, with a vehicle which can carry the gene of interest to a host cell. So commonly used vector, as we have discussed, are plasmid and bacteriophages. So DNA of the vector is also cut by restriction endonucleases so that the gene of interest can be inserted into it. And then using DNA ligase, the DNA fragments of donor vector are joined and recombinant DNA is formed. Now you can here see in the diagram, this fragment is actually from the donor organism, right? And this is plasmid, the vector which will carry the gene of interest to the host cell. So the DNA fragment from the donor organism, this DNA fragment from the donor organism is cut with the help of restriction endonucleases. Similarly, in the vector, a space is formed. Look at here, a space is formed with the help of restriction endonucleases, and then both of these pieces are joined together. As a result, a recombinant DNA is formed because this DNA is having genes from two different sources. Look at this part, this is from the vector, and this red one part is from the donor organism. So that's why this type of DNA is called recombinant DNA. And to join the vector DNA with the DNA fragment from the gene of interest or from the donor DNA, we use a molecule, we use an enzyme that is called molecular glue DNA ligase. Okay, the third step is actually gene cloning. Cloning means copying. In this step, copy of gene will be formed, and for that we need to insert that gene into a host cell, because gene can only replicate when it is present in a inside a cell. So for that we need a host cell, that is mostly bacterium, and the host cell is treated with enzyme so that it can be made permeable for the entry of recombinant DNA. Then the recombinant DNA is introduced in the host cell. As a result, the host cell will be now termed as a genetically modified cell, because that is modified, because it is having the DNA of donor organism as well. So that's why such type of organism is called genetically modified. The host cell becomes genetically modified and acquire characteristic of gene of interest, right? For example, if the gene of interest is having the characteristic of forming insulin, let's suppose the gene of interest is insulin gene. So the host cell will now be able to form insulin because it is having the information of insulin. Then the host cell continue to multiply with the foreign DNA. Foreign DNA basically means gene of interest, and after a short time it results in a colony of bacteria having recombinant DNA. As the host cell is bacterium cell, and you know that bacteria can reproduce after 20 minutes. It reproduce and it form 2, then again from 2 to 4 it form a whole colony. So as a result, after a short time a whole colony will be formed, and each and every bacterium cell in that colony will be having the recombinant DNA, will be having the gene of interest. So as a result, we will have a lot of copies of gene of interest. That's why it is called gene cloning, or it is also termed as molecular cloning. Okay, now you can see in the diagram, this is the recombinant DNA which have genes from two different sources, and for the gene cloning, this recombinant DNA is inserted in this cell. This is the host cell. As you can see over here, this host cell is having recombinant DNA. Now this is the diagrammatic summary of this process. Okay, now you can see here, this is the E. coli, Escherichia coli, a bacterium from which we obtain plasmid, and you can see here plasmid is obtained from the bacterium. Then this plasmid is cut with the help of restriction endonucleases. On the other side, this is the cell of the donor. From the donor DNA is obtained, but we don't need the whole DNA. So we will just identify the gene of interest, and we will isolate the gene of interest with the help of same restriction endonuclease enzyme. Then in the next step, the restriction endonuclease and the vector will be joined together, and this is done with the help of DNA ligase. DNA ligase, the ligase joins the vector DNA with the gene of interest. As a result, now we are having a recombinant DNA. In the next step, we will introduce this recombinant DNA in the host cell, which is basically a bacterium cell. And now this bacterium is termed as recombinant bacterium. You can also call it genetically modified bacterium. Then in the next step, when this bacteria makes its copies, when it reproduces, many cells are formed, many bacterium are formed, and each and every bacterium is having the recombinant gene, the recombinant DNA. It is having the gene of interest. So by this process we can form a lot of copies of this gene of interest, and also the information which this gene of interest is having will be transferred to these cells.